So we are back with the Socket 478 in what hopefully will be the final part of the kind of series, and I can get this machine up and running. So where we left off in the other video, we figured out that this guy, the GTX 6600 LE card, was at fault. Got some interesting stuff in the comments about how it was BGA perhaps onto the main GPU rather than the bridge chip. Could very well be. I'm not going reballing chips with my current setup anyways. Maybe in a year or two's time, when I have a permanent kind of a workshop or kind of tinkering place where I can kind of have my tools permanently set up, I'll think about doing like a BGA kind of setup. But yeah, not going to worry about that. So we know this card isn't great. So as you guys kind of know me, I tend to like kind of double down on projects. Probably not a great idea considering, you know, it's an easy way to kind of go down a rabbit hole and end up spending money on parts that and etc. But I really wanted to get a late AGP card working on this. Something with a bit more bite to it than the 6200. With that said, I got one of the later 6800 AGP cards. Yeah, so it's a beast. It looks very similar to my 7800, the EVGA card. This MSI card though is AGP. Has one of those silly fan kind of potentiometers, I guess, on top. It takes Molex. So the plan is, with this card we should be able to find out if our machine is limited on the AGP bus to earlier cards, or is it surely just that 6200 or 6600 rather, the LE card. I'm nearly sure it was that card. So cool, I'll get this plugged into the machine and we'll fire it up and see what happens. So just to go over the setup, I don't have a DVD drive hooked up. I just have 500 watt power supply, 2 gigs of RAM, Pentium 4, GTX 6800, and a solid state drive that has a copy of Windows XP pre-installed for this system. So let's see if we can get this thing to fire up. Okay, so keep an eye on the screen here. Are we outputting a video signal? No, and I feel it should have probably started outputting the video signal by now. Okay, so let's see if we can get a boot off this again. It doesn't want to post now at all. So we'll just leave it. We won't panic too much. We'll wait to see what comes up on the screen. By right, I should have like a piezo or a speaker hooked up there. I do want to make a little widget for working with ATX boards that has pins for all the for the power reset and a speaker, and maybe some LEDs as well. And that'll be a separate project that I'll do with some strip board, and I'll probably cover it in a video or something. But I don't think this is going to post. This board seems to be just haunted. So okay, let me just power it off. Okay, so we have booted with the 6800 card on the MSI board. So I thought back to what Gadget UK was saying, and maybe that it's the power supply. And I was like, no way, it could be the power supply. So I opened up my other machine, took the 500 watt power supply out of it, a new Antec power supply, a lot lighter than the other one, a lot less kind of power cables out the back of it as well, which isn't a big deal. It's actually not a problem at all. But yeah, we have booted. There we go. plug and play monitor on NVIDIA GeForce 6800. So I think that other power supply probably needs a recap. It's on default 32-bit color, which is awesome. 1280 by 1024. A weird resolution, but it'll do. So I was running Clive Barker's Undying, kind of burning this computer in, and it seems to be working great now with the new power supply. I picked that up recently. So yeah. So Gadget UK was right. This power supply is on the way out. The other card, the old 6600 LE card, is dead. I have checked that. It's still doing the same glitchiness. But yeah, it's booting fine now with the 6800. So, because I'm really fond of this machine, we're going to put it in a case. So let me clear up the kind of tabletop setup. I might get the camera set up overhead or on a tripod, and we can put this in a case. So, this stupid thing. So let me flip it around and I'll show you what I mean. Rather than being like a traditional machine where you just screw down here, these things, they're stupid. So you have to try and get a bit of it over the edge, these little knuckles on it, and then it just kind of clips into place, and that pressure should keep the card from moving around. Now that's, I think, is going to be fine, but I just don't like them. They're a dumb kind of a setup. So let me reorganize things here. We'll get the machine kind of set up with a monitor and a keyboard and all that. We'll boot in. I'm not going to put the side case on just yet because we want to figure out, we might have to pull parts out and stuff like that. That'd be kind of silly to do it at this stage. But let's check it out all the same. What we need to do now though is get some audio drivers on there. So I'm just going to get the actual DVD that came with the motherboard. Because even though it's approaching 20 years with this machine, well, 16, 17 years, something like that, I still have the CD. A rather bland looking disc. God, that drive doesn't sound great. I could swap it out for the other one, but I'm too lazy. USB drivers, Gigabyte Ethernet, Realtek, AC97 audio drivers. Sounds like it's about to take off. No, I will well, yeah, we'll go through the whole restart craze, why not? So it's pretty noisy, and I'd rather get the case on so that the airflow's kind of a bit more rational. But you can see I've hooked it up now to the OSSC here, both audio and thing. So yeah, okay, so agree and continue. Express recommended. So I had an earlier version of the drivers. I had 275.33. I'll just move this so we can see which version these are. Yeah, so 307.83 is the ones I'm going for, and they're the latest drivers for this card. So hopefully, yeah, hopefully they're the most optimized, etc. So I'll cut back. What I'll probably do is switch over to capture mode on the PC and go for a restart now, why not? And yeah, we'll capture on the PC some gamings. I've forgotten how to enable frames per second here, but I think regardless of hardware. Okay. FPS 1. FPS. Oh, it's yeah. It's Unreal, so it'll be stat. FPS. I think. Or stat. FPS. There we go. So you can see we're at 50 frames per second. So, regardless of graphics card, that has more to do with optimizations than anything else. Okay, so as you can see, it looks a lot better now. I had a color correction on it. I don't know why. Yeah, but it looks 100% better. So go out here. Dropping a couple of frames, but that's again game optimization. It has nothing to do with our hardware or OS setup. Simply optimizations. So it's running actually pretty smooth. We're at 60 FPS there. ESP, binary space partitioning. A lot of younger players in the game design scene wouldn't even know what that is now. It's literally where we got our start, most people. Oop, what's this then? It's just chewing my frames. Dude, that's not good. I'm quitting out of that. That's appalling. Okay, so we had a sudden drop in frame rate there. I don't know what that was all about. What I will do is test another game to see if we can recreate that with a separate, maybe with a different renderer. Yeah, the audio, I think there might be a problem with the onboard audio device. What I may do is disable it and install the I may disable it and we'll install the Audigy 2 ZS card. So I thought I'd give you a quick look at the Audigy 2 ZS. It's a really nice board. Great for Windows XP. I wouldn't like to try it in Windows 98. I always go with the Sound Blaster Live. Yeah, so I booted up and kind of uninstalled or deactivated the onboard audio, and I'm going to pop this in now. I won't record that, there's no point. But once it's up, we'll install the drivers. Yeah, it was just beyond here that it glitched out when we entered this room. And it was definitely an audio thing. Yeah, so the door opens, we walk in. Okay, so it seems to be okay now. It just seems to me like it's a bit weak in the left channel. Okay, so now we got the graphic equalizer, so... So there's literally nothing on the right channel. How am I missing a channel? Okay, so that's weird. I just went into some software. I went into, Creative Audio Console. Changed speaker type from headphones to 2.1 stereo speakers. And now... So as you can see,
Eli, look who I found in the airlock.
Gordon Freeman. Let me get a look at you, man. My God, you haven't changed one iota. How do you do it? Now, let's see. The last time I saw you, I sent you up for help after the resonance cascade. I never thought it would take you this long to get back to me. Welcome to the lab, anyway. It's not Black Mesa, but it served us well enough.
It's going to be a lot more like Black Mesa with Gordon here to help.
Right you are. MIT graduates are few and far between these days.
Biohazard 4.
Just up ahead is the village.
I'll go and have a look around.
Yeah, we'll stay and watch that car. Don't want to get any parking tickets.
¡Por allí! ¡No dejes que se escape!
Vayan por detrás.
Why are these people?
¡Bloqueale el
What
paso!
are they planning?
Chainsaw.
¡Basta, hijo de puta!
yeah, it's actually hurting my hands to play with the keyboard. I'm going to stop and see if I can get the Xbox 360 controller working with the PC. Because yeah, that's just painful. Yeah, we'll leave it at 1024 by 768.
Oh, it's just you. At first I thought somebody had broken in or something. Well, good evening.
Too bad Mr. Wicket has to pay money to his blackmailer. Too bad for his blackmailer that I know where the drop is. Ah, the city. Obey the law, and there's
So then
no
I said,
need to worry
"But I
about
can't
the
read."
residents.
And so he says,
The city
They got the
watching
whole
guys
place
who wanna
under
lock me up, though. Gotta keep my eye out for them.
quarantine. I know. Same thing happened to me. I can read so I can see for myself.
I don't like being followed. Cryptic notes, secret meetings. Haven't you keepers outgrown this stuff yet?
It was not our intention to be cryptic.
What was your intention? Don't I have friends on the Keeper Council anymore?
So, we're here with Windows XP in 1920 by 1080. What I want to do is I just want to fire up Half-Life 2 and go to widescreen mode.
Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman. Rise and shine. Not that I wish to imply you have been sleeping on the job. No one is more deserving of a rest, and all the effort in the world would have gone to waste until... well, let's just say your hour has come again. The right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world. So wake up, Mr. Freeman. Wake up and smell the ashes.
Okay, so that seems to be running a lot better than previously.
Of course, the question touches on one of the basic biological impulses. All its associated.
Never forget seeing that for the first time, the walkers. So let's recap our system here. With the MSI mainboard, the Socket 478. It's an 865PE NEO2 mainboard. We replaced the AGP slot on it and changed out some of the MOSFETs in a previous video. Didn't have to be done. It turned out to be a graphics card thing. But we have a 500 watt power supply in Antec, a new one. Should have listened to Gadget UK and checked the power supply, but there you go. I will be recapping that power supply. Don't know if I'll feature it in a video, probably won't. We have our Pentium 4, 2 gigabytes of RAM, 400 megahertz. We have the GeForce, the MSI NX 6800, which is a GeForce 6800 AGP card. We have the Creative Labs Audigy 2, Sound Blaster Audigy 2. We have a Dell DVD drive and CD writer, and a Dell 3.5-inch floppy drive. The case itself is okay. It's possibly a bit more suited to an earlier computer, like in the late 90s, early 90s machine with the beige kind of form factor, but I don't have that many cases. So guys, I managed to get a Mad Catz Xbox 360 controller. It was full of gunk and stuff. I had to take it apart and clean it. It had been kind of misbehaving for quite some time. But now that we have a controller, we can actually play this a lot easier. I won't be hurting my hands so much. This is a really good game on PC because you can get a HD texture pack. You can get like loads of kind of mods for it. So if you're into that kind of thing, I highly recommend checking it out. We've got to save the doggy as always. The Doge. Poor fella. But yeah, cool game Resident Evil 4. Definitely check it out. I don't think it's even that expensive on Steam anymore. QuickTime events, yeah, they're a pain in the ass, but you know what? You can actually on PC it's even better because you can get a mod. Just a standalone piece of software that'll let you do like auto fire and stuff for those annoying QuickTime events. Lazy game design. The odd QuickTime event there's nothing wrong with, but when you have the gratuitous use of them like you see in this game, it's a pain in the ass. Gratuitous use of QuickTime events. The Socket 478 system, I believe, is a success, and it's really nice to have an Xbox 360 controller to use on the machine, as I plan on games like Operation Flashpoint. You know, I plan on putting that on because you know, it's just cool, and we'll be able to fly helicopters and stuff using the analog sticks, which is always better than relying on keyboard and mouse, I find, for helicopters especially, for like managing characters and stuff. Not being really nice to the locals here. The audio, I mean, I had those audio issues back in the day and I just got around them by using an audio card. I don't think I'm going to attempt to fix that. I'll just leave the audio deactivated. I could change the capacitors around the audio circuit. I didn't do that. I don't know if that's the problem. I seem to remember having trouble with this board's onboard audio chip, the real-time audio chip, or Realtek audio chip, in the past. I've noticed that with early Realtek boards, that they kind of, or Realtek audio chip sets, that they just didn't work great. So, bring here to the village and lay the smack down. Man, this is so much easier with the controller. Grenade them when they get thick. When they come thick and heavy. Come on, brother. Crowd control time. Is he a mini boss chainsaw guy? I don't know. He thinks he is. It's Nadum. Ugh. Man, did he survive the nade? I think he might have, you know. Tough son bitch. You one tough son bitch. Let him get point blank now. Mission. Nice. There we go. It's always when you're out of ammo in your pistol, it's finally fuck off.
Lord Saddler.
The Socket 478 is finally finished. Nice home for it. In that case, I could get a cooler case, but you know what? It's fine. It's nice to have this machine up and running again. I have a lot of kind of sentimentality attached to the system, to the main board especially. So cool, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'll chat to you all again.